everybody. This is a very sweet moment when we start one edition of the master, because you see your faces, your interests, and what you are expecting. I am here with some colleagues, only some of the team in Charmio, the ones that can answer your questions. And thank you so much, because we have been completely overflowed with your questions. So we are trying to answer all of them. I will go quickly to what we have here, so people can raise the hand. We have Jake from Trinity College Dublin participating in the phase one. Thank you, Jake. And also he has been here from the beginning, and Trinity is responsible for the program. Victor, that is the program charm program director of the master from ELTE. He can also inform about food, because he has been very deep involved. Adam from Utrecht in water. Adam, thank you. Katalin from ELTE, and Avelina from UB, that are in Life and Health. Sam, that is from Obo Academy in Finland. Jenny and Annette, that can help us with the experiential phase. Anissa with the capstone, she's there. Agnes with inclusion. Agnes, are you there? Maybe I have you in another. Yes, thank you. I am not sure if we could join someone from mobility, but anyway, the questions are easy to answer. And we have several people from the joint virtual office that will help you through all the process. Miriam from Barcelona, Jenny from Trinity, and I'm not sure if Anya from Montpellier is here, but this is the team that you have here. So let me share the presentation and the agenda for today. And as I don't see all of you, just please, Victor, let me know, Victor or Miriam, let me know if there is something I need to stop or whatever. Okay, so here we are. This is the info session for the new version of this enhanced version of the master. We have, until now, we were 5 partners. Now we are offering you 9 partners and a master of 120 CTS. The previous one was 90. We have had 4 versions or 4 editions of the previous one. You are going to be the first one for this new one. Okay, so we have divided the session in 2. One is information on admissions, because you have videos on all the phases of the program. So we wanted to give you the admission process online, on site with you. And then we are going to summarize your questions and giving you the answers. And if possible, because there are so many, open the micro for you if you have other questions. I think in this part of the admissions, I am going to answer the majority of your questions. It's important that you will find a lot of information in the website, very detailed, but in a nutshell, the application procedure have 6 steps. First, look at the admission information, because you have a lot of inputs there. You have a link to start the application form where your data is required, and you can submit before the deadline. Okay. It's important that you make sure that you upload all the documents, and you will receive an application code. So you need to keep this application code, because if you need to return to your application, you need to use the code. okay? You need to upload all the documents because we cannot proceed to your assessment if they are not there. So if you need to access several times, you need to use this application code. If the application is successful, you will receive the notification of the admission after the assessment, okay? So this is in a nutshell what is done. For starting the application, you will need to pay a fee, not very high, 30 CTS, but our experience is that some people apply just to 1,000 of masters, and this generates work and delays for those that of you that are really interested in the program. Why is never working this? Okay, so applying, check the section how to apply. It is very well explained, not so much text. And I think this answers some of your questions. We open on Monday, okay? And we are going to do 2 rounds of admissions. The second will be open if places are still available, but I think as the period is short, I think they will be there. Each round is competitive, okay? So each round works with an algorithm to assign you to the places you want to be. And we are expected to communicate the end of this period is 16th of March, but you will be, you are expected to submit everything no later than 10 days after your first, the first time you enter in the application. After 10 days, you need to have everything in place, okay? Because we will start the assessment process. The second period will be open on 17th of March, but of course, if you applied on the first one, you have more possibilities to get your preference in terms of university and field, okay? Check the admission rules and regulations before starting the process, so you will have better insights on that. Access requirements, very easy, but bachelor or equivalent. There is a question about if applied science degrees are considered like or less considered. No, not at all. If they have the EQF 6, that is the level expected, you are not penalized for this at all. Okay, so this is the first requirement. Second requirement, C1 English level or equivalent, okay? To be, you need to have this at the moment of enrollment, okay? We will admit you with a B2, okay? Because with a B2, we consider that you can gain or achieve the C1 in the time between admissions and enrollment, okay? This was also part of your comments. How this is going? What are you assessing here? So the mark is not maybe as important as in another masters. It only counts 10 points. For this, we use the overall grade or GPA. Okay, if those that in the moment of applying have not finished your bachelor, okay, but you plan to finish it before enrollment, of course, you can provide a transcript with the temporary GPA, so the one that you have at the moment. And then you have 40 points on academic competencies that are assessed by the product that you need to provide on SDGs. And there are questions, but I will how to develop this, but I will leave this for the question side and to some of my colleagues to answer. But these are the criteria that are assessed, and also personal competencies, also 40 points in interculturality communication that is assessed in the video, civic engagement, assessing your CV, commitment to the program also in the video, okay? So, and you have the rubrics or the grid on how are we going to evaluate this. So this is very transparent. And there are 10 points that can be achieved for inclusion needs when applicable, okay? So you can mark this tick, you can tick this box, but this means that you will be assessed by Agnes team that is here, that is the Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Office. I think this is the more important part because it's probably the more complex for you to understand. You need to select your starting university. You need to rank it, okay? And mobility is compulsory in the second phase. So if you, let's say, we have tried that your decision will be easy, okay? But imagine that you want to do food in Würzburg, Germany. If this is your choice, you cannot choose Würzburg in the first because you will need to move compulsory from 1 to 2, okay? From phase 1 to phase 2. So look at what are you expecting to choose in the second phase, and then address your choices. We ask you to rank your choices. The thing is that if we have around 75, 80 students, we open three locations: Trinity College, Dublin, Utrecht University, and Eötvös Loránd, Budapest. If we go over 80, we will open Würzburg, and over 110, we will open Ruhr-West in Germany too. And also, sorry, in phase 2, we offer these 4 tracks, fields, where you will learn how to manage global challenges through a field, okay? You will not specialize on water or life and health or energy, but you are going to analyze global challenges from this perspective. And these are the universities that will do each track. Depending on the number of students selecting or selecting one of the tracks, we will open 1 or 2 locations, because we also know that going under 10 students by location is not a good experience for you. So depending on your selection, we will open more or less locations. This is the compulsory mobility, okay? Then you have 2 other semesters in the second year, the experiential phase that consists in 2 online modules, okay? This is the only part that you can follow online in the program. One is the preparation of the internship or the experiential phase. The other is preparing for the master thesis, the capstone phase, okay? And there is the internship thing. You can follow the internship in your location in the second phase. You can return to the first depending on your conditions and the university offers, or you can move again, okay? You can move to a third partner here, or even you can move to another country with an Erasmus Plus grant on internship. And the last phase is the master thesis, for those that is a question here also. a master thesis of 30 ECTS. This is a quite big master thesis for the standards in Europe for masters. So there is a question about this master give me the access to doctorate studies? Yes, in all the cases. And again, you can move to a fourth destination to return to the first or whatever, okay? Because you are going to follow the challenge that you want to participate in. The challenges are proposed by external stakeholders or in NGOs, companies, public institutions, and so on. Also, research groups in universities. So the only thing that you need to consider is that for this you will have the possibility to apply for Erasmus Plus grants. You don't need to worry about this now because this is managed during the program, but you need to think when making your selections, you need to think that you have 12 months of Erasmus Plus grant to be used during the program, okay? So if at the end you end with 3 mobilities, the last one will not be covered by Erasmus Plus. I know this is complex, but I try to. So how do you manage the application? You go to the application, put all your data and so on, and choose your, or rank your phase 1 university. And we are going to ask you to rank the 5 possible universities as a starting point, because depending on the number of admissions, we are going to open. So imagine that you are admitted in the first round. So we will not, don't know if we are going to open the 4th or the 5th, but you wanted to be in Ruhr West, but you are assigned to Utrecht. If at the end we open the other locations, we are going to consider your first choice always. Okay, so we are trying to give your first choice. Another question was, I think it was in your questions, is which is the chance that you get your first option. We are around 70%. We are giving 70% of people with their first option. Also, we consider if you don't get your first option in the first phase, you are prioritized for your first option in the second phase. Okay, so we try to keep some equity here. We are not only considering the assessment points. So you are going to be assessed between 1 and 90, if you have inclusivity 1 to 100, and then we use an algorithm to ensure diversity of origins and disciplines. We are transdisciplinary, so we consider very important that you have a classroom with diverse mates in terms of cultural and discipline matters, because it's part of the learning process. Tuition fees. This was also a question in your list. This is also in the website. Everything I am explaining is in the website, but so I encourage you to read it. The fees cover the 2 years, 120 ECTS, in 3 installments. When we communicate you that you are admitted, you are expected to pay 300 euros for reservation your spot. Because if you don't pay, we will offer this to the next one, okay? So the first academic year, you will only need to pay 2,200 of the 200 to 500, because we deduct these 300 euros of reservation of the spot are deducted from it, and the second year 2,500. The non-EU students have higher fees. We are not so proud of it, but this is part of the legislation. People not paying taxes in Europe has higher fees. So this is 24,000 for non-EU. The same scheme. So non-EU will pay 300 for reservation of the location of the spot. This will be deducted from the 1,200 of the first installment, and then the second year it would be 1,200. Available grants. We have in the website all the extensive list of EU and national grants. So depending on your nationality, you can apply for some of them, okay? Again, unfortunately, there are not so many grants for non-EU, and this was also a question. This is not an Erasmus Mundus master, so we don't have these non-EU grants to offer. And we offer a 5% of grants funded by CHARM that will depend on the finally enrolled students, and this will cover the tuition fee of each year and the mobility cost that is estimated 2,200, and this is what we are going to do. What we have done, depending on the amount of applicants and also the circumstances, and this is a work that Agnes' team is doing, is to give some of the students a tuition fee, some others the mobility, and some both. So this is my point. I will try to now, I think we have answered not all, but many of the questions on admissions. So if you agree, I will start with the questions for the program, and we start with I make a summary of your questions and I address them to some in the. So Jake and Victor, these are for you. So I will just say they want to know what is the overall presentation of the program. So what is the general aim of the program, how the hybrid classroom works, is this how is creativity integrated in the program, if we have exams or not, if they can bring their own challenges to classroom, and the number of hours a week. I need to say also that is a question, this is a full-time program, okay? You are expected to invest 40 hours a week. We had some students that had a very small part-time jobs, but I am not going to I be very sincere. It's a demanding program. It's challenging. So don't underestimate this because we don't want to overwhelm you so much. So take this into account. And the career opportunities. So Jake and Victor.
Victor, do you want to take the overall and the hours, yes, and I can handle the rest?
Yes, thank you very much. So in this program we are teaching you to work transdisciplinary. It means that to work on real case studies, on real problems involving external stakeholders. Also, in some cases that we can say that we are training you to act at the science policy interface. in this case, your duty responsibility will to be able to analyze and to interpret data, and to be able to negotiate, to deliver, communicate these results, these outcomes to different stakeholders, including policymakers, and also to take part in capacity building. Then the teaching class, can you hear me? So, can you hear me now? So about the teaching is in hybrid classrooms. It means that for example, food is now in Barcelona and in Budapest. The students are divided in equal number, and we are connected with each other through these hybrid classrooms with this Teams environment. And the main advantage of this is that you can have you can learn the knowledge, share the expertise with the different partner universities. Also, we are working in groups. So one of the main things is that you can come with any scientific background, but what is at the end that we would like to prefer the group collaboration, group work collaboration, and less on the scholarship. And also the teaching workload. So the face-to-face classes are 15 teaching contact hours per week, usually 3 days a week from 10 to 1, and then from 2 to 4 with 1 hour lunch break. What else? Which other questions,
I'll do some of the others, Victor.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So some of the other questions were around sort of creativity. And I might link this a little bit with the question around examinations as well. So the approach we take to examination, we take a programmatic assessment model, which is a little bit different to maybe how you might have been assessed in other programs. Now, the easiest way to sort of maybe describe it is it's like continuous assessment. So you'd be getting lots of small assignments that will speak to the contents throughout the masters. These will vary. This is maybe where the creativity piece might come in. Is some of these are like presentations, some might be to create a video, others might be writing reports. But very much so, and this again sort of maybe speaks to the other question that came up, was around the sort of using your own challenges in the classroom. Depending on the particular module and where you are, there will be opportunities for you to take the content and apply it to a challenge that you're particularly interested in. Now, I'll just couch that with what Victor said, is you will be working in groups. So not every individual will necessarily be able to work on their particular one, but you'll be able to advocate for maybe a particular challenge that is close to your heart. And depending on the group that you be in, they may go with that, or maybe an element of it might make it into what you're currently working on. So again, it will be around sort of working transdisciplinary in a transdisciplinary way. So that does take sometimes some compromise, but there will definitely be opportunities for you to at least advocate for specific challenges that you have. So hopefully I've covered the bit on the sort of creativity. In terms of the examination, I go into that programmatic assessment a little bit more. So the way that works is you have a continuous assessment, you get feedback regularly on that, and you get assessed regularly throughout the phase. You'll have a portfolio that all that material will be in, and you'll get the feedback in that. We use a program called eJournal for that. And throughout the phase, you'll get the feedback on that, and then that will build up. You'll have a number of different program learning outcome sort of areas that you'll be assessed under. And then when you get to the end of the phase, that whole portfolio will be reviewed in a holistic way to give you an overall result for each of the phases. So each of the phases, you will get basically a grade for each of those, and a lot of qualitative feedback as well. I think that's probably the thing that sometimes gets missed, is that there's a lot of feedback. And the idea as well that you will grow with these program learning outcomes from phase to phase. So you'll start at aiming for a sort of a novice level, then you'll grow to sort of intermediate, and then the goal is you'll have sort of advanced and expert levels as well that you'll grow in. So you'll actually be assessed on these same things rather than on the content knowledge. This also links as well to sort of the competency and skills development that Victor has touched on in terms of what's a core element of the program. And what we hope as well is that those competencies that are sort of exemplified within those program learning outcomes, those would be skills that would be, you know, particularly interested for in terms of when you go on to get employment. And that was one of the, I think the last question was sort of around careers. So thankfully we've had a number of cohorts before us. So I can sort of highlight some of the potential areas that, so like various different consultancy companies have hired our graduates. Those have both been some for more sort of traditional consultancy, but also sort of emerging consultancy companies around sustainability and areas around that. There's sort of NGOs, including as well sort of like the UN as well. The various different NGOs have sort of looked at, you know, wildlife sustainability or fishing. And then there's also been sort of government agencies that looked at sort of like development of like food and various different elements there. We've even had students or graduates employed in the European Commission and other European agencies as well. Training and education has also been appeared a number of times. Even in sort of like the media industry, then also as well, some have also pursued further research careers as well. So those are some examples and highlights of where some of our graduates have gone. I think, have I touched on?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. The only thing is the hours. You are expected to be in phase 1. And I think, phase 1, at least, that is the one that you will address first. You will be in class like something like Monday, Wednesday and Thursday from 10 to 5, more or less, okay? This is the on-site attendance, because you will be in one of the campus connected with the other campuses at the same time. So I think this was part of the... So the good news is exams, as you know them by now, probably not, but not for these are less challenging, let's say. But anyway, so I will follow with you, Jake, with phase 1. If you can talk about more or less the content, and also 2 questions that came here is which skills are required and for the program, okay, but also for phase 1, and how people can prepare better to...
Okay. Yeah, so in terms of the content for phase 1, so there's 3 modules in it. There's a module on sustainability, another module on transdisciplinary research, and then another module on social innovation. Sustainability runs throughout the first phase, and that will cover various different, basically give a foundation in sort of, you know, sustainability concepts and approaches. So that can cover everything from sort of the legal basis into sort of policy, and then other sort of you know, sort of justice and sort of rights issues and inclusivity and, you know, areas like that. In terms of transdisciplinary research, that covers the approach that we sort of take throughout CHARM, which is to sort of be research-based and research-focused, but then also how can you actually include additional stakeholders in those research processes. So we'll cover everything from sort of research methods and methodologies and sort of paradigms right through to sort of different data collection approaches. It is an important one because again, we've got a very diverse sort of set of students who take the program, and they all come from different backgrounds. Some have research backgrounds, some do not. So what we do, it is quite a comprehensive and broad approach to research. So what I would suggest is that even if you do have a research experience, try to choose something different to what you've done previously as well, because there will be an opportunity to learn in that regard. And the idea as well within the transdisciplinary research, there will be a sort of a challenge that will go out throughout the phase, and you'll go deeper into that particular sort of team challenge in transdisciplinary research, and you'll explore what the problem space is. And then the idea is you'll have got a basis then that you'll take into social innovation in the second half, when you actually move into sort of a solution space and actually explore different strategies for you know, thinking about how you come up with solutions, how you work with potential end users, and how you sort of sort of contextualize those for solving the particular challenge. So that's the sort of content. One of the sort of main things as well that sort of is sort of part of the hidden curriculum almost of phase one is sort of the development of transversal skills as well. So we don't necessarily talk about them in a very explicit way, but everything will be you know, done in a very active and in sort of engaging way and through the challenges. So challenge based is core to CHARM, and the idea there is that you'll be working in teams and you're collaborating. You'll be given sort of projects and tasks. So there'll be a lot of stuff around sort of, you know, how you collaborate, how you express yourself creatively, you know, various different types of communication, whether that's oral or written communication opportunities. So you'll be opportunities to present. There'll be different things like debates to practice your public speaking. But then other things like project management as well, and how you actually manage your documents and your materials as you're working through the project. So there's a lot of sort of transversal, and then obviously things like, you know, critical thinking and thinking about things deeply is going to be part of that as well. In terms of how you'd prepare, I would say come with an open mind to the program. One of the things that I would probably say as well is that you get what you put into the program as well. So there may be things that you think you've already covered, but there's definitely going to be opportunity to investigate areas that you haven't. And I think, you know, there's a danger that if you just focus on what you've already done before, you might get a bit bored. But there's ample opportunity to actually think about yourself as, you know, just for personal growth. And that is also one thing that's also built into the assessment and the program, which is a mentoring program and a professional development aspect as well that you get assessed on as well. So would we say to really engage in that? I think if you come into it trying to think about what you want to get out of it, that's definitely a great start. We do find though that students almost change, and as they go through the process, that sort of changes as they get into it and they start thinking and they get the mentoring. But I would definitely think having an articulation of where you think things are would definitely be a good starting point for it.
Thank you, Jake. So we are going to move for flexible phase, and I am not, I will answer the non-answer admission questions later, but I wanted to give also space to the program itself. So in the flexible phase, the questions are how much flexible it is. So the flexibility is that you choose a field where you want to expand, also that where you can develop your interest and your challenges, the possibilities of getting your choice of track are 100%, I would say. You know that this is in mobility, so we have always meet the choice of the students here. The flexibility to change a field once you have already selected it is limited because mobility grants are linked to that. So we cannot be so much flexible. We can arrange exceptions, but not that you just make your mind in the last minute. So we are asking for you to do that. Also, any very specific question that you want to address to us, you can do it through this interest link in the website, and we will address this specific question to people in food or life and health or whatever the field or the phase you have. So I think, wait a second. There is another question. If you can follow one field but take some modules of the others, this is not very easy because the locations are not the same. And also this will overload you, okay? Another question is that if you are interested in a very specific question that is delivered one day, of course you can attend this session. So let's go quickly through a quick overview of the different fields, quick, because we have still experiential capstone admissions and general things. So I don't know, Victor is in the airport, so I will go through him first for food.
Yes, thank you very much. So I'm one of the module coordinators of the food track. In the food track, we have 3 modules which are built up sequentially. The how can nutritious and healthy food ensured to everyone in the planet. The first module builds with the state of the art of the food systems. The second one, how to evaluate the food system, and the third one, which transformations are needed for until the policy level to achieve sustainable food production. And the students are working on challenges, of course, as it was mentioned in each phase, and students can bring their own challenges. We have interdisciplinary teams, and what we are doing is we are writing at the end, so we are formulating policy briefs, so recommendations. This is more or less what is this about. And of course, we have field trips. It's very practically oriented, so we have case studies, and we try to involve as many teachers as it's possible from all partner universities. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Important thing that you mentioned, Victor, that during the program there is a field trip where you all meet together around and one or several stakeholders seeing a real challenge all together, because you will have a real challenge all over the time. So, Katalin, Life and Health.
Thank you. Life and Health is organized in a very similar manner as Victor described the food track or field. We are also having 3 different modules. The first module is on life and health related research and research methodologies. The second one is on policy issues related to life and health. And the third one is related to intervention planning in life and health related issues. Something that is a new development, and you, if you choose the life and health track, you will experience it. That instead of starting immediately with the research module, the first 2 weeks of our life and health track is a general introduction to the different layers of health concepts. And that is something that will give you a good understanding what are the possible different fields, what are the different possible interpretations, approaches related to life and health. And that will give you a good background or a good basis for making your choice later on when you are developing your own projects, you are doing your you are choosing your own challenges, because I saw one of the questions was if you have the freedom to choose your own challenges. And I can tell you that within Life and Health, you will have the opportunity to choose, yes, your own challenges. Of course, you will be working in small groups to develop different type of products. But the main thing is that based on the knowledge that you gathered in the preparatory phase, gathered in the different modules, and during the introductory first 2 weeks, you will be able to capitalize all the knowledge, all the approaches from the different layers of life and health, and then you will have a comprehensive understanding, and hopefully will be able to develop something meaningful for yourself and for the humanity.
Thank you, Katalin. Sam, what about energy and sustainable cities?
Thank you for the question. Before I answer the question, let me just tell me, most of you have no idea where Åbo Akademi University is. It's in Finland, and Åbo Akademi is reflective of the Swedish-speaking minority in Finland. So the working language is Swedish. Of course, we teach in English as well. But with regard to the track, this is a new track. We are building it up at the moment. It will be designed according to the other modules as well. So will be 3 modules, of which the key theme are cities, and energy is related to cities. The basic premise and rationale of this is that sustainability issues, many of those are dealt with at the practical level in cities. And why is that? Yes, the majority of people live in cities, meaning that any possible solution that we need to dig into and explore and challenge and problematize is usually from the perspective of urban areas. And the module I will be coordinating is module 3, where we specifically are going to dig into climate change, and especially the climate change from an EU perspective and all what EU does, what the city does, for example, what different cities across Europe do, because there are many forerunner cities in the world are located within the EU, amongst others Turku and Barcelona and others. So these are some practical examples. So that was it, keeping it short.
Thank you, Sam. And the last field is water. Adam, I think you are here. Adam from Utrecht.
Yes, I am, but now from actually. So I'm in the streets. I hope you don't hear the street music. I'm heading to
we hear it. We hear it.
Ah, sorry.
Very well.
Briefly, sorry.
Nice. This is charm, right?
Right? Yes. So we have 3 modules in water. One is focusing on extremes, like, yeah, I have a nice background music, I guess. So extremes in the water cycle are like floods and droughts, and also their complex consequences, so not only the environment, but also social and economy. And then the next module is all about designing sustainable water measures, which could be whatever, again. And then the last one is focusing, as Sam mentioned, on cities as well, here in the water track, because, yeah, more than half of the population lives now in huge urban environments, and that's why we selected that focus for that 3rd module. And I believe that's it.
The music stops and he too. Okay, so thank you, Adam. There is a question about these phases. When are you going to know that you are in one in your field? It would be when you enroll. Okay, so you will know by then and probably before, because at the end we need to distribute the people and we need to have the security of how many people is going to be. So for enrollment, we will have this for you. So you are going to make this final decision in the enrollment process. You are putting this in the admission, okay, because we need to plan in advance, but you will confirm and get your place on based on enrollment. Let's go for the experiential, and I will try to answer some of the questions with the help of Annette and Jenny. The trainship is full time, so this is the idea. You will start with 5 ECTS of preparation of the internship. We have planned to have an alternative for the internship just in case, because, for example, depending on the visa of non-EU, you will, and the national regulations, you will have more or less possibilities to do a real internship, but we will not, if not possible, we will provide a real challenge to be developed. So we have planned this. In principle, is a student that looks for the internship they are interested. Of course, our universities have packs of internships, but as this is student-driven, we want you to look for your interest more than that. You will be helped, of course. And there was it's an individual internship, okay? Not teamwork, because this was another question. And at the end of this semester, you will have 5 ECTS to prepare the master thesis, because our experience is that students require a bit more preparation. And there was also a question that I cannot answer. I think I can answer, but Annette and Jenny, a question about that this is supposed to be also or have a component of a research project. So some research needs to be done and reported, and this is part of the internship. it's not something that you need to do in advance. But Jenny, Annette, do you want to add anything to my answers, or just say you are wrong? No.
Yes, I can say that the internship is students researching a sustainability challenge within a company. So there is a research part because it's a 2-year master that's quite important in this process. So researching a sustainability challenge is part of your internship. I have a very short slide and I will go quickly because I need to leave this building in a few minutes. Because there were also some questions about how you as students are supported in this internship phase. And this is the timeline, the general timeline that we have right now. So we will support you in phase 1 and 2 with some very small activities that help you, for example, with updating your CV, preparing how to do an interview for an internship, finding internship organizations. And around June, July, you have to sign your internship agreement. And then phase 3 starts and you start your internship already. And while you're at your internship company or organization, you will start writing an internship proposal, which is about this sustainability challenge that you are going to research. So the first part, the first 5 ECTS of your internship will be kind of part-time because you are working on, you are full-time in your internship company, but you're also spending some activities on writing this internship proposal and following some lectures or workshops that online that will help you with that. And then the next 20 ECTS of your internship is a full-time internship in which you will write your internship report, and that is the end product. And then the last part, the last 5 ECTS in January will be a capstone preparation. So this module will fully prepare you for phase 4, in which you will go through the challenge-based learning process and learn everything that's needed for the capstone phase, the phase 4.
Thank you, Annette. So let's move to the capstone phase, that is the summary for the master, and also the big real challenge. And the questions, Anissa, are if you can give examples of topics, the impact of these projects that they have, and if they are can be done with external stakeholders.
Yes, thank you, Marichal. Hi, everyone. So I put also in the link our previous projects from the cohort 3, maybe also can inspire you a bit about many different topics. And also the product. So basically capstone is, like Marichal said, the last phase of the master. It's equal as a master thesis. Indeed, you're working with stakeholder because you will be grouped in team, focusing on solving certain challenges that are proposed by stakeholder. So we will open the challenges for stakeholder, a call for challenges, in which you will choose from, let's say, and then there will be matching process. We will take into account your preference, but also in terms of distribution of different challenges located in different universities. So basically, content-wise, you'll work in a group to define certain question that is developed together with the stakeholder you work with, but then individually, each of you will also do a research that will contribute to answer the group challenge. Basically, there are 2 components, the individual component and the group component. You will work in inter and transdisciplinary setting. Interdisciplinary here means that you will come with your own perspective individually, but at the end, it's also about combination of different fields and how together they will solve the questions, the overarching question of the group and the stakeholder. And then in terms of the product, there's individual chapter, but also group report. And then in the group report, you will also propose certain solutions or product, and it can be varied from prototype, business model, or a prototype of an app, policy brief, scientific report, even something that very visual like video, movies, and poster. And last year, for example, this cohort that just graduated, students went to South Africa and also really work with the community to build how do you call it, activity rooms, so to paint activity rooms. So that kind of really actual work is also considered as product. So in this phase, you basically combine research, but also more practical solutions together with stakeholders. Yeah, you need to also use some kind of creativity as well to design the product and make sure that the product will be useful for the stakeholders. So I think the question about impact is really that you try to find a product that would be useful for the stakeholder and also perhaps their network. But yeah, maybe we don't have time to go through different projects, but in that link, you can see the scope of the different challenges from the third cohort. And then I think some also include an actual product. And these all will be open access. So we will ask the students and the stakeholder to give a permission to share whatever products that come out of Capstone. Would this be answering your question, the question?
Yes. Thank you, Anissa. And then we go quickly for the other questions that are missing. Someone asked if this is an accredited program. It is accredited as a joint program by Europe, but needs to go through national accreditation. That is something automatic, but takes time. Okay, so this is why we put that is in the process. Okay, that is something that it's a matter of time, and when this is done, it will be on the. There is any option that it don't go through? I don't think so. We have gone through this process once, so it's done through a European approach accreditation process that after this is adopted by the countries. But we need to keep this sentence there until this is completely done. You cannot defer, so you can apply this year, but you cannot defer the admission. We can consider your materials if you want, if you have to apply it again and you don't produce them again, but it's competitive. So you need to reapply next year for the next cohort. All disciplines are welcome, as we said, and there is also a question about age. I think we have around 3% of people that is not just coming from the medium, 5% that are not just 23 or 22.
Yes.
We have people, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Maricha. I just wanted to compliment once you finish this part.
Okay, because then we have other questions for inclusivity, Agnes. So if we have families, so if we have people or students with families or spouses and this type of profile. So Agnes, please.
Yes, thank you. I mean, I heard the age part, and I also would like to welcome all the participants here today. I'm Agnes, and I am the lead of the inclusion team, or the diversity, equity, and inclusion office. And we are also suggesting and encouraging you that please apply to the program, and we will also consider your lived experiences, circumstances, and such age or gender or any other equality grounds are also of course protected equality grounds, and we are very welcoming all kinds of ages and diversity in the program. And what is also important, as Marichel said, that we are creating the environment to the greatest extent possible to inclusive. Of course, there are sometimes financial or logistical restrictions, but we are always with an open mindset and with the human rights-based approach and intersectional approach. We are trying to figure out the best aspects. And what is also important as a key word is that reasonable accommodations. These are that we also value and important to academic activities and etc., so that it's inclusive and reasonable to the program. So I just wanted to jump in, and we also had families or individuals with caring responsibilities. And although the program is very demanding, as Marichel said, that it's very active, but I think that we always find some solutions over the last couple of years. Thank you.
Thank you, Agnes, so much. I think that I have 3 more questions that are not answered. You don't need to be a previous student of our partner universities at all. We are having people from all Europe and outside. The ratio of applicants and success, I think only 15% of the applicants don't get the 60 points minimum to have access. So this is the only, we are offering 100 positions, but we can go until 125, okay? So we have never leave people behind because of places, okay? Only because the assessment is not enough. And housing, important question that you have also mentioned several times. Housing will depend on the city, okay? So there are cities that are more complex to find. There are some universities that can ensure some rooms in campus, but you need to apply quickly or early. As Trinity, for example, I know Montpellier also can do something with the housing. In Barcelona, we have like a central office for all the universities providing opportunities for that, but not a reservation. So as soon as you apply, the better, because you will have access to more things. Also, questions about grants. As I said, non-EU, for us, we have not found ways to fund grants for non-EU students. Unfortunately, we are trying to change this in the future, but not immediately. And the others, first, please check your national grants. And if you see anything, then you can apply for CHARM grants, but this has only 5% of the things. So I think we cover your questions, also the questions on the chat. But if any of you want to raise your hand and ask something, Erasmus Plus grants, I mentioned that all of you will be eligible. This is not a matter of EU, non-EU, okay? The thing is that you will be considered eligible for a grant, for an Erasmus grant for phase 2. Phase 1 is on your own, okay? Because it's the starting of the program. You start moving through Erasmus Plus grants in phase 2, and you will have 12 months in total. So you can do phase 2 and phase 3, phase 2 and phase 4. So this is the thing. Anyone want to raise a hand for last questions? That maybe Nienke or Dick, which is your name?
Yeah, Nienke. I was wondering, like it was said, actually there's no answer in the chat, but yeah, I was wondering how CBL projects actually how they are transformed within the program. Like, does it mean that every phase we are doing small projects that are CBL learning, or how can I see this happening within the program?
I don't know, Jake or someone want to go in?
I can come in on that. So like, for example, in phase 1, in a way, you're sort of setting a challenge throughout the whole phase. And that's what I sort of was saying in terms of the transdisciplinary research. We'll sort of explore it in more depth. Sustainability will provide some of the context and sort of frameworks to sort of think about the challenge. And then social innovation will sort of work towards the the solution to that. Some of the other modules, depending on which track you're in, they might have a challenge per module, or they might have a sort of a continuum of challenges across the different tracks as well. So, and then the capstone itself is a challenge that you'll engage with in that regard. So it really depends on the particular context, but that sort of challenge approach is core to all the teaching. It's what the CH in CHARM stands for as well, is that challenge-based approach. So
yeah, okay. So every phase we're doing projects, and does it also mean that we actually also think of solutions and implement them like in real time?
As much as realistically possible as well. That's so it's contextual on it. So sometimes you'll sort of might articulate the design of a solution, but the idea is to work towards and model working towards solutions as much as possible. Yeah.
Yeah, and this solution can take any form, like from like organizing an event to like an actual product.
Yeah, so again, that's where we're sort of working with stakeholders is really important, is to sort of think about what is the appropriate output and in terms of what that solution is. So it could be a product, it could be an event, it could be a learning experience, it could be very flexible in terms of what the outputs are.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Grace has written in the chat because she's in the library, so she cannot change the micro. If we need evidence that in the non-EU university, the previous studies are recognized as bachelors. Miriam, do you want to answer that one?
Yes, I was writing in the chat. I send it anyways. But the thing is that the university where you did your bachelor's or where you are doing your bachelor's must issue a certificate or a letter stating that your bachelor's equals a EQF bachelor's level, so you can access a master program, an official master program. Maybe for students this is not really something you know, but the university should know it, what we're talking about.
Thank you. Kinga. Hello? You are muted, Kinga. Kinga? No. So there was a last question. I think I think Adam is not with us anymore because of the music, maybe. But maybe. So Kinga, do you want to write your question on the chat, maybe, if you cannot unmute you? And in the meantime, there were questions about the product that the people needs to do for the admission. If this needs to be strictly a local challenge or something that the students have experienced, and which formats they can have this product. I don't know, Jake, you have not been doing the rubrics and as Adam, but maybe you can give some advice on this.
I would be less confident in answering that particular question.
Okay. No, but I think you can provide, if justified, you can provide your own experience. Okay. The local thing was trying to bring you to a real challenge that you are experiencing. So I think this would be admitted. Kinga, do you want to write in the chat? No? In the meantime, Nienke has another question. Wait, I studied in the Netherlands. I was wondering if it's possible to apply for these programs through StudyLink. I think this is the Miriam, do you know that? I think we have, okay.
Yes, I know. No, don't do it through StudyLink because the registration of your application does not go to UB system, and it's Universitat de Barcelona the one responsible for admissions. So do not apply through StudyLink. In the website, there will be the link, active link to do the application.
Thank you.
If you register in StudyLink, the registration gets lost.
There is a question in the chat, and after that, Nienke, I will give you the floor. Would you say this program is also well suited for those who did their undergrad in sustainable development, or better for those coming from different fields? Anissa, Jake, Victor, who wants to answer?
I can help, Marichel. I think it's an advantage because you have already experience on sustainable development, already did your undergrad there, but then you still can learn so many more, I think, because of the transdisciplinary nature of the program. So you will meet people outside of the field, perhaps, but then have interest in sustainable development, and then also the fact that you will be challenged by challenge-based learning with a lot of different projects. So don't worry that you will, maybe you're afraid that it's going to be, how do you call it, the same or similar program, but it will not be. I will assure you that, because there are more things from the interaction with other disciplines, but also interaction with outside of academia.
Thank you. The tuition fee and all the process of admission and enrollment is done through Barcelona. Okay, so this is the thing. Nienke.
Yes, I had one last question. Like, I'm curious what the CBL projects and capstone projects look like. So I was wondering if you guys maybe had a link or something that I could see a project like that.
It's posted in the
chat.
Already.
Yeah.
Okay.
Twice.
Okay, then I didn't read the chat probably.
Okay. Yeah, I know. It's difficult to follow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nienke. For you and for us. Do I miss any question from the ones that you... There was one that if someone can advise if people is interested in rural areas or coming from fashion. This is tricky. Anyone wants to answer? I can say that first cohort, we had a startup that started in the second phase, and they won a prize in Dublin, and they have their company. It's about clothes and tracking of the fabric of the clothes or something like that. So I don't know if someone has... Ian, can you have another question? Or is that
no, my hand was just still
okay.
I think maybe for the fashion, maybe the water track, because I think a lot of water is used in the fashion industry. Maybe, but I'm not an expert in fashion or water, so.
And rural areas, maybe food or life and health. Catherine, what do you think?
If you wanted to get creative with food, maybe there's food waste that could be turned into fashion, but I don't know, again.
And you don't need to keep your interest continuously in the same thing. So you can do a water track and do the capstone in a different area. So, okay. I think we have answered almost everything. I hope, or we hope, to see you in September with us, because as I said, it's a challenging program, but you will enjoy it, I think, as we do. Okay, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.